A new commandment, that you love one another. These words, especially the word commandment, mandatum in Latin, from which we get the Old English mandi, undergird our service tonight. The Feast of Passover, or at least a covenant meal, turned into a new way to show love. Foot washing, the act of a servant, an act of self-abasement, to show the basics of Christian ministry, finds its anchor, true love, in this night. Who in the world uses the word mandi? I know I don't in my daily life. It is one of those peculiar church words. For those on the outside of the church, and even for some of us inside, it may seem like typical church speak, like spire and narthex and pavement and sanctuary. These ideas and these things from outside the church aren't quite clear. But to understand the commandment, we need to go back to what our mandi is. We need to go back to the story we read from the gospel. In it, Jesus has gone back to Jerusalem for the Passover. He's gathered his 12 disciples there at a table. He knows what's going to go on. He knows what will happen. He knows that by the end of the night, one of them is going to slip away from this band and will betray him to the authorities. One will deny him 3 times, and all of them will leave them alone in his hour of greatest pain. I should imagine that Jesus is a little bit taken back by the level of solitude that he feels. If those he had invested in for 3 years will leave him, what can he leave them with? What really lasting mark can he share? Only one thing. In our language, 4 little letters that mean an awful lot. Love. The very thing that Jesus is willing to demonstrate so perfectly in basin and towel and ultimately iron and wood. And yet, here he is, breaking the body, pouring the cup, eating with the very people who would abandon them, blessing them, getting down on his knees, washing their feet, showing grace and compassion in a time that they should have understood that he was bearing unspeakable frustration and pain. In a world where we are often surrounded by messages of retaliation, of retributive justice or vengeance, this message is ever fresh. It is ever current. For Jesus has done nothing wrong. He's lived a life of peace. He's healed the sick. He's raised the dead. He's given sight to the blind. He's made the deaf to hear. He brought hope and life to the very people who needed it the most. But you and I, and human beings throughout all of history, have always had dark spots in our hearts. Jesus knows this. He knows it better than anyone. And he chooses to love us anyhow. And in the end, he knew that he was not about to be thanked for all he did, and instead he was about to get killed. Compassion and self-emptying love is a pretty tricky thing. Darkened minds don't really understand love. In the end, the goodness, the kindness, and the compassion he brought were more of a threat to people who preferred control. Roman authorities and temple authorities, any weapon of any army is threatened by love. This kind of love is that which sets us free. It sets captives and upsets the balance on those who have strangleholds on power. Love, for example, Paul reminds us, does not insist on its own way. It bears all things. It believes all things. It loves all things. Love never fails. So Jesus, with his own insistence on radical love, determines that the most loving thing is to absorb humanity's worst. This night, before it all goes down, he isn't running. He isn't plotting his revenge. Instead, he was with the ones that he loved the most. The ones who loved him but weren't perfect and really didn't understand what was going on. Probably like we really don't understand all of what went on. The ones who knew who he was and what he had done. The ones who would be his witnesses. The ones who would march to their own deaths in testimony of martyrdom for him. And that is where the word Mondi comes in. Because what do you do if you are for Jesus? What do you do if you know that you're not going to be around much longer and you have to tell the people that you love the most, the ones who followed you, the ones who sometimes make really big mistakes, how to keep moving in the same direction that you taught them once you're gone? And the only answer, ask people who are going through hospice this, the only answer is love. This is the story that turns everything on its head. The mandate, the mandatory thing, is that Jesus tells us, I give you a new commandment. Love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. And by this, not by your ability to quote perfectly the Bible, not by your ability to live a quote-unquote sinless life in the eyes of others, that doesn't exist, but love. Love, that deep, self-emptying love, the kind of love that is a decision and not a feeling, and is a costly choice. I often get these little envelopes in the mail from the Nielsen Center, right, the ratings company, that asks how you feel about television or radio. And they give me a couple dollars for my time inside. And so, if I were rating a show that had this level of love and selflessness, I probably would rate it pretty well. And I suspect that those of you who would be doing some sort of rating like this would also rate such a thing very highly. It would seem something we should do in our groups or to our friends to show this sort of programming, but it doesn't do well at the box office. People don't understand light. People understand darkness. They prefer it. Such a film or show, things like this night, these events, would not make Nielsen ratings. Because it's the story of a person, of what happens when the world does its worst, through violence, through hatred and fear, and yet love overcomes. Love won't let us go. And it's a story of one rejected, scorned, resisted, and yet irresistible to us. Maundy Thursday, Holy Thursday, no, it's less about a commandment and less about holiness. It's simply about love. This is how you and I were wired in Christ to be known. The Messiah St. Stephen's community is called to be about the power of love, to take everything that is broken and bind it up in Christ. So we need to ask ourselves tonight, how good are we at being known as a Christian? In other words, does love pour out from us? Is it because we have a chrome-plated fish on our car, because we support the idea of the Ten Commandments being put on public buildings? Maybe you show that you're a Christian by wearing a cross in public. But tonight, I'm asking if perhaps you've looked at your real motivation, not the outward stuff, not the stuff that people would understand, but rather things which are confusing to this world, like real, self-emptying love. All that is worthy to be found of the Christian life finds its anchor in love. In a moment, you will have an opportunity to receive that kind of love. And it's the type of receiving that I hope you would take back out into your own little corners of the city. You will come forward, those of you who are willing, take your shoes off in your pew, slip off your socks or stockings, and come forward for an ancient ritual. A ritual where you're not just receiving the removal of dirt from your feet, but you're receiving an act of love, sacramental, if you will. You have two pastors who understand our ministry as just that, servanthood. Being willing to be Jesus to you so that you can be Jesus to others. And this year, let's not forget, between this Maundy Thursday and the one next year, let's not forget the mandate. It's so simple, but yet it demands our entire life. As we eat our Lord's body and drink our Lord's blood, as simple as that seems because we do it so frequently, know that we are choosing no less than to feast upon Christ's love for us and to bring that out. Go out into the world, rejoicing in the power of the Spirit. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord. Go in peace, remember the poor. All of these ways in which we close our services that compel us out to take that love out there where they know not love. You see, if every Christian would love as they've been commanded, no one would ever have to ask us who we follow. It wouldn't have to be on our car. It wouldn't have to be on the way that we vote or how it is that we approach issues. It wouldn't be that we wear a cross around our neck. They would know us because we love them.